You thought feature announcement videos were done just because early access is available on the PC? Think again, boys and girls. We've had new feature set drop for Football Manager Console. I'm going to have a little look at it. And as you can see as well, from the Football Manager website, the console feature set isn't the only one we're going to be having. They're still coming soon on FM24 Mobile and FM24 Touch. So mobile, as the name suggests, is the one that's available on mobile. Touch is the one that last year was on Apple Arcade and could go on iPads and phones and basically anything on Apple. It's also, I think, what they called the version on Switch. So I don't remember seeing any mention of Switch anywhere at the moment. I assume that'll be covered off in the FM Touch one, but they're still to come. FM Console is what we're looking at today. As ever, I'm ogling these beautiful controllers and really hoping the lovely people at Football Manager will send me one if I ask really nicely. I'll buy it. I don't even need a freebie. I'll buy one. I want one of each of these, please. They're very, very beautiful. But we have our announcement of all of the console features. Headline number one, J-League making its long-awaited debut. That's going to be across the line of all the Football Manager games. They've got the license for one, they'll have the license for others. And I think we just get a little bit of an overview of the main headlines, then we can go into this deep dive and dive deeply. So they're bringing dynamics into the game. I don't think dynamics have been in FM Console previously. I fully confess I don't play a lot of FM Console. I dabble in it a little bit around launch. I usually make a review video on it when it comes out, so keep an eye on that on the main channel when launch day arrives. And also let me know down in the comments whether you'd rather see that on Xbox or PlayStation. We can do either. I ain't doing both. It's the same game. But dynamics is in. You can also bring your career over from FM23 over to FM24, which I suspect the Xbox Game Pass version in particular is what's led this more than anything across all versions, including the PC version of the game. Obviously, you have Xbox Game Pass version on PC as well. It's very complicated, but if you are playing on Game Pass, as soon as FM24 comes out, FM23 is removed. So if you've got an FM23 save that you're enjoying, you can now continue to play it because you can just load it straight into FM24. Obviously, that applies to any saves. It's not just Game Pass ones. It's available on both Xbox and PlayStation 5. So if you're enjoying your current save, you can import it into the new version. They're bringing the new set piece creator into console as well. And it looks like it's being brought in exactly in its PC form that you should have seen now as part of all the beta content, both here and over on the main channel. They have stuff about, what is this? Make your voice heard. This looks like you can finally talk to the board. Were you not able to talk to the board before? Maybe you weren't able to talk to the board before. Now you can talk to the board and ask for things. I mean, it's difficult to be excited by a feature like that as a PC player because it's been in our game for 20 years. But if that's not been in console previously, it is one step closer towards parity between the two versions. And then they're also, what is this, training? This is training. They've done something to training. Let's go on the deep dive and we can probably get... It's hard to pick... I can see the screenshots look like screens I've not seen before. Without the explanation in text, it's difficult to... Whoa, it's difficult to know exactly what's going on. So, in the same style as we did with the PC versions of these, it's reading time with Kev. Settle yourself down, maybe pull a comfy blanket over yourself, grab a cup of tea. I'm going to tell you a story. So, Football Manager 2024 Console is getting ready for the new campaign and is set to launch globally from November 6th on Xbox, Xbox Game Pass, and, after a sparkling debut season, PlayStation 5. So, two things to pull out of that first sentence. Firstly, it implies all three versions will be out on launch day, which obviously PlayStation wasn't last year. It does say from November the 6th, though, so they're giving themselves a little bit of wiggle room. We'll see what happens, I guess. As previously revealed, you'll now be able to bring forward your saved games from FM23 Console and continue your journeys to football and glory. On top of this, our console team have been working hard on new features that ramp up the immersion and elevate your gameplay experience. Dive into the detail of this year's additions and upgrades. So, hold on. We have got a... I thought, is that really all you're giving me? No, this is just a menu. So we're actually going to... I mean, I guess we can look at the menu headlines and then dive further. So Dynamics. Dynamics? Was Dynamics shown on that first one? They need to be consistent with what... So they're adding Dynamics, which wasn't in before. updating training. The match engine improvements are coming in, so things like the improved locomotion, the new positions. So the match engine, and this has pretty much always been the case with the console version, the match engine should look the same as it does on PC. It usually does. Online crossplay, that's a biggie. So Xbox and PS5 players can play together in the same online saves. And I know online saves are more popular on console than they are on PC. PC is very much for us loners who just sit in a cupboard and don't talk to anybody. But I know you console cool kids do like to associate with other human beings, and you can now do that regardless of which team you are in the great console war. The new set piece creator, as we've seen, and board requests. So there are your headlines. Let's go deeper on each one. So I guess we're starting off with dynamics, and this looks very different to how it looks on PC. This is I've not seen screens like these. Are new screens. They're doing something new and different on console to what we have on PC, and that does happen from time to time. I remember Miles mentioning a year or two back that the dynamic manager timeline was actually a console thing that was brought over to PC. So the console team do develop separately to a point from the PC team. So there is the occasional bit of divergence in the evolution of certain features, I guess, and this looks like it's one of them. Certainly looks more console friendly, big colourful buttons rather than seas of text and numbers. So defining the sort of boss you want to be is a central component to every manager's job. In FM24 Console, a brand new dynamic system gives you a better understanding of your players' personalities and how they respond to your decision-making and managerial approach. When you create your manager profile and pick your team, you'll be prompted to select your manager principles. So you're doing this right at the start. You're selecting what your principles are as a manager. Okay. I guess this is similar to, when you're creating your manager profile on console, do you allocate the attributes the way we do on PC? Or is this just I'm trying to think. I'm not sure that you do. Maybe this is just creating your manager profile, but with a fancy consoled up skin. Where did I get to? When you create your profile, yeah, blah, 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 we did that. These are a set of core values and standards, including things like dedication, consistency, and leadership that you'll expect your players to live up to every day in training and on match days. As boss, you need to choose 3 from a list of 10. So it's not manager profile. I'm wrong. This is the stuff you expect your players to live up to in training. So these are basically like your targets, your standards for your players, your principles. Principles would be a good word for it. And you can pick from any of those 10. You must pick 3 of them. Okay. In order for these principles to have the desired effect on and off the pitch, you'll need to earn the buy-in of your players. Buy-in is a new concept we've introduced for FM24 Console. This is what I'm saying. Divergence. For FM24 Console that indicates how much your players believe in your vision and your management. Every player will have a different level of buy-in based on their distinct personalities, leading to them being described as either engaged, enthusiastic, believer, or devoted. It's a bit culty, isn't it? Culty for YouTube's auto text deciding whether to ban. I said culty, culty. Their buy-in can and will fluctuate over the course of your career based on how you handle certain situations. So this is very different to anything we've had on PC. It looks like they've taken dynamics, which is very complicated, and if anything, pretty overpowered. We've certainly seen it in early access on the PC. Morale Manager 24, it's like more powerful than it's ever been before. If you lose morale, if you lose team cohesion, if you lose team confidence, it can have a huge impact on results, performances, even how things play out in the match engine. So I think they've taken that and tried to simplify it for console because, again, you've got to remember, when then the whole purpose of FM Console isn't to just dumb down the PC version. It's to make it so that it's playable on a massive telly the other side of the room, controlling with a controller, rather than on a normal size monitor controlling with a keyboard and mouse like there in front of you. So the interface is completely different, and some things that work well on PC don't translate well to console, and vice versa. So this looks like they've taken the concept of dynamics but reinvented it so it actually fits and is native to console, and that's got to be a good thing. They don't need to be the same game. They just need to simulate football management in a way that works for the platform that they're on. I'm fully in favour of them doing stuff like this, unless it's rubbish. I do hold up the right to say, no, that was rubbish. It was a terrible thing. But the idea is good. The thought is right. The thought is there. For example, if a player was late to a pre-match briefing, you'll have the choice of dropping them for the next month. That's a bit harsh. Giving them a reprimand or letting them off. Can we just drop them for one match? Think carefully before you make your decisions, because each choice will affect individual squad members differently. To capture the diverse nature of the players in your squad, every player has been ascribed an individual mindset based on their attributes. Each mindset has its own positives and negatives, and you'll be able to see how these come together across your squad with a graph in the dynamics menu. So again, this is all very different and simplified. I mean, we have player personalities in the PC version, but it's kind of hidden. It's hidden within the player profile page. And I'll level with you, I don't really look at it very often because I know a lot of you are like, oh, Kev, you want a perfectionist, you want someone who's determined. I don't really look. I really don't look. It's big and colourful and on a wheel. I'd look at this. This appeals to me. Maybe I should play console. The overall mindset breakdown of your squad is key. Having a number of players in your squad with similar mindsets will unlock some bonuses. How very console-y. Bonuses, including improved training performances, while having a strong variety across the squad is a good strategy for having a successful team. So you want a mixture of different personalities. Although, if you have more of one particular one, it also, but you can do it, build your squads how you feel like. Similarly, having a number of positive mindset players will counteract any negative influences in the team and ensure a stronger squad atmosphere and ultimately better results. This is cool. I like this. I wouldn't want it in the PC version. I think it works all right. I just want them to tone down the one that's in there in the PC version, but it's a great representation of it for console. This is really good stuff. And more of this. We've also added in a new hierarchy visual that shows the makeup of your squad from the team leaders down to those who've just joined your club. Again, this has been in the PC for a few years, but they've just consoled it up. They've made it big, bold colours, easier to see, easier to control. Positive. Next section, elevate player performances with training. Boo, who does training? While match days are where you get the glory, the training ground is where nerds spend their free time. No, sorry, is where the training ground is where your players put in the hard work to help your plans come together. In FM24 Console, you'll experience an enhanced training module that gives you greater clarity, access, and control over what your team are doing. One of the first things you'll notice is that you now have the ability to choose your team's training focus for the next week. Could you not do that before? Wherever you choose attacking, technical or physical, you can see what your players are specifically working on every day, and you'll get better oversight of their day-to-day performances in news items and the training menu. As the season progresses, you'll also see visualizations that showcase the sessions that your team has done over the past few weeks, giving you insight into which areas to focus on next. I level with you. I don't even touch training on the version I play every day. I certainly have never touched it on console. If you're into this kind of thing, this is new. Maybe it's not. I'm going to keep reading. Attacking, defending, and goalkeeping training units also make their debut in FM24 Console. These are the groups that your players will work in during training, and within the dedicated units tab, you'll see their workload and top 5 attributes they'll be working on in the next week. This is actually quite good. If training was like this on the PC version, I might do it. I probably still wouldn't. I'd be more tempted to, though, because it's less fiddly. While these units are automatically determined by your backroom team, you've got the ability to move your players around so they experience different things and work with different people. So you have an attacking unit, defending unit, goalkeeping unit. Makes all the sense in the world. Next section, level up your prospects. Making your Wonder Kids world class is one of the most satisfying feelings that any FM player can experience. And as part of our wider training enhancements this year, we've refreshed mentoring groups to assist with developing your young stars. So I think they've just made, because this was done in the PC version a year or two back. It looks like the changes to mentoring on PC from a few years ago have made it to console. But again, with console style user interface. Lovely. Formed of at least 3 players, these groups typically pair a couple of prospects with a senior player to help their development on and off the pitch. If you're not sure how best to group your players together, you can lean on the expertise of your assistant manager to work out the most appropriate combination to bring together. That's fine. That's been in the PC for years. Truer positional motion, match authenticity, and positional play. Again, this is the new stuff that's in the PC new this year. So it should just all transfer straight over, because I think the match engine is the same across all versions. From kickoff on your very first match day, you'll notice that FM24 Console brings with it the raft of match engine upgrades. Also, it's exactly what I've just said. All the updates that are in the desktop version are in the console version, so it's the same match engine. There's a vast improvement to the way players move in our engine, from animation locomotion enhancements that improve off the ball movement to player rotation changes that free you up to incorporate more positional play in your tactics. Inspired by real-life tactical innovations, the inverted fullback player role makes its debut and brings you closer to cutting edge of the professional game by functioning as a central defender in possession and a traditional fullback out of possession. Match days have also taken a big leap forward visually thanks to ball physics, match day lighting, and that changes at the level of authenticity and immersion of every fixture. If you've been watching my content on the early access, both here and on the main channel, you'll have seen this in action. The match engine is vastly improved and it's translated straight over to the console version. I'm sure that will be a very welcome improvement for console players. More right ways to battle for online bragging rights. So this is just the crossplay stuff. So FM24 Console brings with it more opportunities to challenge your friends online. Not only can you compete against those on the same device as you, the enabling of crossplay means that those of you on Xbox can play with people on PS5 and vice versa. Crossplay will be applicable across all 3 online game modes in FM24 Console: Fantasy Draft, Online Career and Versus mode, and just requires you to both be on the same version of the game. That's cool. That's pretty much a standard thing in the console world now, and good to see Football Manager embracing it. And then we've got the new set piece creator, which again just translates straight over from what we've already seen in the PC version. So if you want to see more on this, my early access videos are the place to look. Set pieces are a vital part of modern football, and this year we've got more resources to make a positive impact on both ends of the pitch. The new set piece creator from FM24 has been adapted and incorporated into FM24 Console, with your assistant manager walking you through 4 key questions that help to determine your core defensive and attacking preferences. I think on PC we actually get 6 or 7 questions, so it's not quite exactly the same, but it's definitely there. From the answers you provide, your assistant will generate appropriate routines for every scenario. With these routines created, you'll now see every set piece has specific roles attached to it. Instead of needing to manually assign instructions to specific positions, instructions are now automatically assigned by your backroom team to each of these role categories. For example, instead of saying you want your right side central defender to attack the far post, your biggest aerial threat will now be given that job. It'll be interesting to see if we can have multiple routines, because one of the things console and touch traditionally is they never had anything in the way of tactical familiarity, so you could just change tactics at will. So as such, you'd only have one tactic loaded. As I'm saying this, I'm seeing there's 2 routines on there, so ignore everything I was just about to say. You can have at least 2 routines. I imagine you can probably have the 3 that are on PC, and the stuff once you get past this bit, which looks a little bit simplified, once you get onto this bit, it looks exactly the same as it does on PC. And actually thinking about it, it is a very console-y UI on this. I feel like this might have been designed with console first thinking when they were putting it together, and then they've translated that to PC rather than necessarily the other way around. It feels a bit like that. I don't know that. I've not had that confirmed one way or the other by SI. This feels like something that was made for console and put on PC, which is fine because it works really well on PC as well. You can customize these routines as well as the automatically selected free kick and corner takers, but you can also let your backroom team manage them for you as the season progresses and your squad changes and adapts. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then we've got developing your club's future, which is the board requests stuff. Whether it's a new stadium, a bigger transfer budget, or an expanded youth intake, you're now better positioned to impact the future of your club with a redefined system for making requests to your owners. Now housed in a dedicated tab in the Club Vision menu, you're now able to include a contextual reason for why you want a certain project to go ahead. For those requests that are particularly pressing, you also have the ability to mark one per season as high priority. It's now easier for you to make your voice heard, so it's up to you to make it count. So you can select different things, all the things that are normally in board requests, and you can make one of them high priority. I would assume they don't automatically, it is request. You're not automatically going to be able to expand the stadium at will, but you can ask for it and be told why you can have it done, which is nice. So improving accessibility, we've made a number of accessibility changes for FM. Hang on. Oh, so these changes go back to FM23 console as well? We've made a number of accessibility changes for FM23 console and for FM20. No. So they made the accessibility changes then, and now they've enhanced them. So for FM24 Console, we've enhanced our efforts to bring us in line with industry best practices for accessibility. Round of applause. You'll now notice that there's a photosensitivity warning when you first load the game, while there's also the option to turn off hold button presses from your first launch. Player feedback has also led to us adapting the in-game commentary bar so that the text and background colours are more complementary. As a colourblind person, thank you. Elsewhere, we've made slider menus more adaptive and responsive and incorporated new controller induction screens to our in-game onboarding system. I think a lot of the reasons PC players are so resistant to the console version is because of how clunky the controller feels. So if it's being less clunky and it's actually being explained how you use it, because I actually find it quite intuitive the way it uses the shoulder buttons. I think it's quite clever. I like it. I wouldn't want it on PC, but for console, it's cool. I would like it on the Steam Deck version of PC. If they could incorporate that, that would be super. And also this season, that's not all. There are a number of other changes waiting for you to discover throughout FM24 Console. When beginning your career, you'll have more manager creation customization tools to work with, including a number of new hairstyles. I'm glad they've left this to the end. A number of new hairstyles, face gen improvements, and the addition of new outfits, face paint, lapel badges, and ability aids. Your opponents will be smarter in their transfer... We'll try that one again. Transfer improvements. I see where it's going, even though I can't get it out of my mouth. Your opponents will be smarter in their transfer market decision-making and their team selection following a number of under-the-hood changes. So these are the things from the PC version that have just come straight across. The new AI. This means you'll face more transfer battles for top stars and see your opponents develop their prospects with increased playing time, adding greater competition and immersion to every career. If you want to see that in action, the transfer battles that I've had as part of the Chelsea beta save that comes out here on LOLLUJO 2 every day, the one I'm streaming over on Twitch. I think as this video comes out, this transfer special at the end of season 1 going into season 2 will have come out this morning. Go watch that video. See some of the prices I've had to pay for some of these players. This stuff, it doesn't stop you from building a super team, but it does make it harder, more expensive, more competition. There's certain players you just can't get. There was no way I was ever going to be able to get Declan Rice for Chelsea, for example. It's definitely there. The transfer system feels different when you're playing it. When trying to offload players, meanwhile, you'll notice the new studio partner Transfer Room are making their in-game debut. There's no mention of intermediaries here, so maybe that part hasn't made it in. There are also upgrades to the Dynamic Manager timeline, which again is actually quite good now on PC. It's quite good. It's still not, I would argue it's still not very dynamic, but it is better. Give it another year or two, it's going to be really good. Having first introduced this last year, we've worked this year to improve the card design and introduce a number of new potential events to capture the variety and uniqueness of every crew. You just need to make the stuff that's no longer relevant come off it, and then it's perfect. That's my message to you, Sports Interactive. More tools to write your own football story. The introduction of a new all-encompassing dynamic system. Oh, this is just the summary at the end. Enhancements to training and a refreshed set-piece creator are among the changes that increase the drama and depth of every FM24... I mean, that feels like you've just stopped mid-sentence, lads. I don't know what you've done there. That's it. That's FM24 Console. I was going to say in a nutshell. We've been going nearly half an hour. I'm going to need to edit this one. Goodness me. But... there's a lot there. Obviously, if you want to see that in action, next stop, as far as FM24 Console is concerned, is I'll do a first look video of it the day it comes out, 6th of November. Let me know down in the comments whether you want to see it on Xbox or PS5. I can do either. I is fancy. And also keep your eyes out later this week for the first look at FM24 Mobile and FM24 Touch. I think both of those are due to come before the end of the week. Disclosure though, if they come on Friday, I am at London Comic Con, so I won't get the review out until early next week, but they will be coming. Let me know which features you're most excited for. Let me know if there's features for console that are still missing that you wish were in there. And if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up on it for me. Subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, have a look around. If you're not used to LOLLUJO 2, have a look around. There's good stuff here. Feed Chris's kids. And thank you very much for watching, folks.